reading is one of the many reading curriculum options available on the market, and you're probably watching this video because you are wondering if it's the right fit for you. And we have fully completed level 1 of this curriculum, and in this video I will share with you my thoughts on the curriculum and how it worked for us. Spoiler alert, we loved it, okay? I'll let you know that, but now let's talk about why we loved it. Now first, let's talk about cost. At the time of this video, brand new, this kit can cost you anywhere from about $171.80 to $215.75 brand new. I think one of the largest concerns I have heard that make people hesitant to buy the All About Reading curriculum is the price. And when I first purchased this program initially, the price tag, it did hurt to see. In fact, in order to make it more affordable, I went and bought bits and pieces of the curriculum secondhand online. And also I do have a video on how I go about this, buying everything cheaper, and I will share that with you at the end of this video. I still had to buy the student workbook brand new and directly from the site, but all the other parts were secondhand. However, after finishing level 1 and seeing how well it worked for us, I purchased level 2 without hesitation, and it's brand new directly from the website. After seeing the quality of the curriculum, the price no longer bothered me, and it is a reasonable price given the quality and effectiveness for our family. I know most of us have tight budgets and worry if curriculum is worth the spending, the more money, and for us it really was worth the expense. Now, considering the price, you may be wondering what is all included. So when you go on the website, you will see the program is somewhat flexible and you can choose what you want to get. Everything from the teacher's manual to the student workbook, sight word flashcards, magnet letter tiles, and there's more. You can click on the website, which I will link down below this video in the drop box, to see what all you can get in the level 1 curriculum. I will say the most important part to get here, or the most important parts, is the teacher manual, the 3 readers, and at least the All About Reading level 1 student packet. Now you can technically get by without the rest of the items with a bit of elbow grease and ingenuity, but if you are more for making your life easy than putting in the extra work to save money, I'd say upgrade the student packet to one of the interactive kits. The good thing about the interactive kits is that they are a one-time purchase for the extra items, one of them being a card box created as like the perfect holding space for your sight word cards. I found that box to be very useful as the perfect organizational system for the cards included in the curriculum. And I skipped the additional reading games packet, which gives more opportunity for comprehension with additional activities. Now we did just fine without that extra packet. It's called like Ziggy the Zebra or something like that. But sometimes I do wonder if I should have gotten it, as my daughter really enjoyed the activities in the student workbook and it might have been a great addition. Now, in the past, I have done a flip through to show you page by page some of the insights in the teacher's manual and student workbook and the readers included in the kit. So I will link that video at the end of this one so that you can have an option to see that as well. In this video, I won't be doing a flip through or like a super in-depth explanation like I did in the other video. I'll simply be sharing what I think are some of the most important things about All About Reading level 1. So if you want something way more in-depth, check out that video that I have on my channel. First, let's talk about the teacher's manual. I chose this curriculum for a specific reason, and that reason is I've always been really good at language arts in school and intuitively know how to properly read and write after years of repetition. It's the same for most people, I'm sure. My concern was that I would not do so great at explaining why we do this or that in reading and language arts, because like I said, I remember them after all the repetition, right? However, I didn't think I could do a good job explaining the purpose of the sounds and the spelling and why we do it the way we do. So All About Reading leaves like no stone unturned. It's really great because they give you thorough step-by-step instructions and even give you the exact words to say. And sometimes I needed that much help, and sometimes I did not. But it was nice that I had a clear path written out for me as the parent so that I could go teach the lessons without worries of what I may have left out or what I could have explained better. This curriculum gives the person teaching a lot of confidence. Also, I do love the layout of the teacher's manual. After a few lessons, you will realize that the entire manual has like a general rhythm, and eventually you'll know what is coming next. So there is not heavy prep work. There is some. The extent of the prep work is reading the before the lesson portion of each lesson and some minimal cutting or stapling paper is involved, and it never took more than a few minutes, and I usually did the prep work the day before, or the night before I should say, instead of in the morning. That's when I would do the prep work. But if you aren't worried about breaks or like a slower pace, you could surely do the prep work right before the lesson. Like I said, I found the prep work easy and just did it at night. So I have nothing bad to say, honestly, about the teacher's manual. I think it does exactly what it should do, and I never second guessed how well a lesson went because the manual is really good. So next is the student workbook, and it's not your usual workbook filled with like questions to answer, writing prompts, or tests, or any of the other things you'd usually find in a typical workbook. There's never any writing involved actually, which is really great. It's just not like the simple, typical tedious student workbook. Instead, the activity pages are interactive and fun. So Vivi always looked forward to the activities in the booklet, and some of her favorite activities involved feeding a hungry monster after saying words correctly, sequence puzzles of a storyline, and rhyming games. Those were some of her favorites. There's also like an ice cream game in there, which is still a rhyming game. She loved them. There really are many great and wonderful like activities to further teach your child the concepts within that workbook. There is another portion of the workbook that is practice and prep sheets, and this is where you'd find like a list of vocabulary words, phrases, and sentences. And we had a specific system that worked for us using these sheets. Now these sheets, I wouldn't say that they're all the way 100% necessary, but instead of having like my child read the vocabulary to me and then follow up with reading stories included in the lesson, I would simply say each word out loud myself and she would repeat after me. And I'd also point at the word that we were saying to make sure that she was paying attention visually to the spelling to get familiar with it. And then she would read the read aloud in the lesson out loud to me. And I did this because young kids only have like so much attention span, right? Their brains get fatigued. And I didn't want to make the lesson feel horribly long or like that the vocabulary had to be part of her reading. I wanted her energy better spent on the main point, which is learning to read the stories. So she still got prepped for the new words that she'd see in the read alouds, but didn't have the exhaustion of wasting her 20-minute time frame over the reading list before even getting to the book. And yes, we did do only 20 minutes or less a day on a lesson, and it was perfect. So speaking of the read alouds, there are 3 readers included in this curriculum, and all 3 books progress and match each lesson so that the child is getting a chance to apply what they are learning. And the first book starts out with a very simple, often only using 1 to 3 words per page type of sentence. And by the end of the book, your kids will be reading like more complex sentences and punctuation. And you can also slow down and spend multiple days rereading the stories if your child is struggling with confidence or flow. And that is another great thing about this program. With All About Reading, it's okay to not finish a lesson completely in one sitting. But back to the readers, the stories are mainly about animals, but there are some stories about people, and the stories are both cute and comical for the children. And also the curriculum will give you questions to discuss. Like they'll give you the prompts during the story to further help check on the reading comprehension. So the curriculum might say, when on page 3 of the story, ask your child this question. And the stories are probably our favorite part out of everything that you get. Like the books, the 3 readers are just wonderful for us. A few other things I'd like to mention. The magnet tiles are a lot of fun, and genuinely we love using them. But for those of you with children who may often misplace small things like tiles, they offer an electronic version of the tiles. It's a one-time purchase, and then the app can be used all over again, like for each level of the curriculum. So not just level 1, but it continues with your kid. I do think it's worth the purchase. Also, the sight words flashcards are useful, but I have a child that just isn't into them. She wasn't into them, so we did not often use them. And I found other ways to get her sight words in. So I created my own versions of games using the sight words. That is how we made sure she was retaining all the new words that she was learning about. Were there any negatives with this curriculum? Honestly, the fact that Vivi didn't enjoy sight words on the flashcards are probably the worst thing we encountered. Like, that's the worst it was. So I say, that means it did pretty awesome for us. It worked perfectly for our family, and it was just what we needed, to be honest. I think it's a very great, thorough product. Are you wanting an in-depth look at the pages of All About Reading and how it works? If so, click this video on the top for all the info. I'll see you over there in that video. Have fun homeschooling.